97% of airports do not know that this AI phone agent exists, and it costs them a minimum of $174,000 every single year. Now look, this isn't some sci-fi prototype. This is already live, handling calls about passenger inquiries, lost baggage, flight rebookings, and updates about security concerns or ordering shuttle services. Now, of course, this saves a ton of money, but it can speak every different language. It eliminates wait times. It can never get overwhelmed because it can do hundreds of calls simultaneously. And at the same time, it's 24/7 available. So first, I'm going to show you a live demo of what this sounds like. And second, I'm going to show you the tech stack needed to build an advanced AI agent like this. If you're new to the channel, then welcome. My name's Liam. I help businesses all over the world to implement advanced AI phone systems into their companies. So if you'd like to explore how we can help you do the same, just book a free AI consultation call using the first link in the description. I look forward to hearing from you, and now let's dive into the video. So let's talk about some numbers. Small airports get around 5,000 calls every single year, while big ones actually get upwards of 500,000. Each of those calls costs an industry average of $4 when handled by staff or a call center, whereas our AI systems do it for 60 cents. That's a saving of a minimum of 17K annually, upwards of 1.7 million, depending on the airport size. Alright, now I'm going to show you a real live demo of what an AI agent like this sounds like. I have tried to make it as entertaining as possible with a few jokes, but the real world use case will become apparent very quickly. Now, just a heads up, I am using Google Sheets as a mock database here, but of course you will connect this to your actual airport database, just so you know that Google Sheets is of course only for demonstration and not what we would actually use in practice.
Hey, this is Los Angeles Airport. How can I help?
Hey Joshua, how's it going? So basically there's been all sorts of delays and now I suddenly see this maintenance crew around my aircraft. Is there any chance that it's going to be delayed or what's going on with it? I'd just like to know some more info.
Oh no, that sounds stressful. Let me check on that for you. Could you share your ticket ID so I can pull up the details and get you the latest info?
Yeah, of course. It's CJ8I3.
All right, so here's the update. Your flight has unfortunately been cancelled, but there's a new one scheduled. It'll take off at 2 p.m. and land at 7:20 p.m. The route includes 2 layovers in Bulgaria, and the aircraft is an Avro Canada C-102 jetliner. Your seat has been adjusted to 112 in economy minus, and you'll need to proceed to gate 11. I know it's a lot to take, and do you have any questions about the changes or need help with anything else?
Man, that's rough. So 2 layovers in Bulgaria and a downgrade from business class to economy minus? Are you kidding me?
Oh, I totally get how frustrating that must feel. It's definitely not ideal. Let me help you sort this out. If you'd like, I can assist you in reaching out to the airline to discuss the downgrade or explore other options. Would that help? Or is there anything else you'd like me to check?
No, I'll just take it for now. It's fine. But could you help me with my baggage? Because I did actually, I lost something on the last flight, and maybe we can just use the time now to sort that out.
Got it. Let's tackle that baggage issue. Could you share your baggage ID with me so we can get started? Just let me know when you're ready to confirm it.
Yeah, one sec. Yeah, the baggage ID is, it was F75RT.
All right. So it looks like your baggage has been marked as lost. I'm so sorry about that. It's definitely not what you want to hear. Would you like me to help you file a ticket to get this sorted out?
Yes,
Let
please.
me know how I can assist.
Yes, please. That would be great.
All right, let's get that ticket filed. Is there any extra info you'd like to include, like when you last saw the bag or what it looks like? Once I have that, I'll read everything back to you to confirm.
Sure, and this is actually a true story. So this is basically, I left from Auckland and I just bought this extra, jar of tomato relish for my family. And I know that my dad loves it, and I wanted to get it back to him to Germany. So I went through airport control, and they wouldn't let me take it because it was over, I think, 200 milliliters. So what I did is I actually bought another bag and wrapped the tomato relish in bubble wrap. It was a small black bag, and I actually checked this piece of tomato relish in separately. It cost me quite a bit of money. It arrived in LA, all right. I saw it, but then in Frankfurt, it wasn't there. It was quite devastating, especially the journey and the efforts that I went through just to get this, jar of tomato relish back to Germany.
Oh, wow, that's quite the journey for a jar of tomato relish. I can totally see why this is so important to you. Let's make sure we include all the details to help track it down. So just to confirm, it's a small black bag, checked in separately from Auckland, and you last saw it in LA but noticed it missing in Frankfurt. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I read everything back to you?
No, that works. You can go ahead.
All right, your ticket has been filed successfully. We're on it to track down your bag and that precious jar of tomato relish. Is there anything else I can help you with while we're at it?
Could you help me arrange a shuttle service, please? Yeah.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to help you arrange a shuttle service. Could you let me know which exit you'd like to depart from, north, west, or east, and what time works
West,
best for
west,
you?
please. Could we depart in half an hour?
Got it. So you'd like to depart from the west exit in about half an hour. Just to confirm, does that timing work perfectly for you?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Sure. Yeah.
Perfect. Hang tight, I'm arranging the shuttle for you right now. You're all set to depart from the west exit in about 30 minutes. Let me know if there's anything else you need while we wait.
Excellent.
Your shuttle will be at the west exit right on time in about 30 minutes. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that's perfect. Thank you very much. I've had a great time
You're all
talking to you, Joshua. Bye bye. All right, so now that you've seen what this airport AI actually sounds like and what it can do, let me explain exactly how this works and how to demystify this magic AI. So, in a high level overview, this is what it looks like. So, basically, you have your phone. This is where people call. And that then basically, first of all, gets routed, your voice gets routed to a text, speech to text model. Speech to text. So, basically, we transcribe the voice first. Next, what happens is that this text gets sent to an AI model like ChatGPT, to keep it simple, basically. And then that will basically, it can understand what's being said, right? So now it's just like typing into ChatGPT. And ChatGPT will then reply with some more text, which is an answer. So if you say something like, hello, right, that then gets transcribed, sent to ChatGPT, and it will say, hi there, back, right? And then that gets sent to an AI voice back to the phone. And now here's where the magic part happens, because talking to it is all nice and good, but we need this thing to take actual real world actions. And in this AI step over here, this is what we're going to take a look at closer now. And the difference between ChatGPT and an AI agent is that an AI agent has tools, and it can actually decide, when do I use these tools? So in this case, it has a few tools. It has a document to answer questions about the airport. It has the ability to check in our spreadsheet or the airport's data system for real-time flight data. It's able to file tickets and send emails about baggage inquiries, for example. And it's just basically got enough tools to do whatever you need it to do at any notice. We can even get this thing to search the internet, or look, you can add as many of these as you want. It really doesn't matter. And this module over here will then, as soon as it's understood, maybe it's not hello, but maybe it's where's my bag? Where's my bag? It'll understand, okay, let me check in the system first. Once I've checked the system, if it's lost, let me send an email to inquire for more details, and then let me get back to the caller. So it can, like a real human, use these tools and actually do things with them. And in our case, what we do is these tools live in a workflow automation like make.com, or you can put this in Zapier or in N8N. It really doesn't matter. You can even custom code it for larger operations, of course. And this just allows us to take these tools and actually integrate them into whatever software you're using, right? Whether that's something from Oracle or whether you have your own custom airport software. As long as there's an API access point, we can get our AI agent through these tools all the way integrated into your software. So now the AI is useful, right? It's not just chatting away, it's actually doing stuff. And this is where the real value comes in. Because this whole process, you basically pay a per minute cost and a workflow execution cost. it'll work itself out to be only around, between, you can get it down to 10 cents per minute up to around 15 cents per minute is an average, just so you have an idea of what these things cost. And of course, compare that to a human, it is at least 3 times cheaper, if not a whole lot more, if you're hiring an external call center to do this for you. All right, so how do you actually build one of these in practice, in real life? So the softwares that we use in this case were Retail AI and Make.com. And of course, as I showed you before, I set up a temporary Google Sheet, which is just, once again, as a placeholder, basically. Okay, so let's walk through how this works. So in Retail AI, you have a few things that you need to look at. So first of all, we have the prompt over here. I've made a completely separate video on prompting. You can, tell you what, I'm going to give you access to my custom GPT, which I use to write my prompts myself here at my agency, Vant AI. I'm just going to put that down in the description for you to download, and that will already get you 80% to a great prompt. And I'm also going to link the prompt tutorial in the description. So I won't go into this in complete detail, but basically you tell it who you are, what its name is, where it works, the context of the call, how it's supposed to speak with the caller, which tools it can use. And you can, of course, change the model here to any of these models as you like, but 4 O's work great for me. Next, you can play around with the voices and change the voice if you'd like. You can, of course, change the language to multilingual as well, which is very handy at airports. And there's also cool things like you can tell it the current time, something that a lot of people who, build these things not solidly, they don't really think about this. An agent needs to know what the current time is, obviously. And you can also upload files which it can, answer from. Like in this case, I uploaded just a document with a bunch of questions and answers, which it can then look through to answer the caller's questions. Next is a bunch of speech settings that you can do in terms of how responsive this is, and a bunch of security settings, analysis settings to see how the call went. I won't bore you with these details because that's not what you're here for, but just to know that there are a bunch of options to configure this further and further. Okay, so this is basically the overall agent which you've made, right? This is the overall agent. It now has an identity. It knows where it works, who it is. And on the left here, you see the workflow. And this is basically answers one of the biggest questions that I get asked is, how reliable are these agents? I just don't want to give this access to my, I don't want to let this thing loose on my customers and have it, access to my softwares. How do I know that it actually does things reliably and doesn't mess everything up? Fair question. And that's where these workflows come in. Because while an agent has a lot of freedom to decide what it can do, and it has to, we do need to put it in a framework. And this is what the framework is. So basically, each one of these paths represent, for example, looking for baggage info, filing the ticket up here, looking for flight info, security, then you've got the shuttle service down here. And you can put these into flow, so it has a very fixed pattern to follow, and it cannot screw up. I mean, sure, it can always screw up, but it won't screw up in a way that messes your whole airport up, right? So let's start at the beginning. You can specify whether or not the AI or the caller speaks first, and then I've just given it a welcome message here to say. And then as you see, this is not connected to anything. And the reason for that is that we have these global nodes. And these basically allow the AI to jump to any one of these pathways at any point in the conversation. Because while workflows are great, what happens if you accidentally go down the wrong one? You're stuck, right? And that's not a good thing to have. So with these global nodes, you can just tell it, jump here when the user wants to find out information about a specific flight, or when they want to arrange a shuttle service, right? Or up here, baggage inquiries. And we'll go through these one by one. Won't go through every little prompt, but enough for you to get an understanding of this. So let's say somebody says, I need to know what happened to my baggage. It will first of all ask for the baggage ID, and you can here specify between a static sentence and a prompt. The static sentence will literally say exactly what you say here, and the prompt will be a mini prompt, which is a lot more fluid. You can also add another prompt here telling it when is it allowed to move on. So for example, once the user has confirmed that you've understood the baggage ID correctly. All sorts of little security mechanisms you can put in here, like confirm it, read it back to the call and ask for confirmation. Now next we have a tool node. And in here, I'll actually go into this once. you see we have a bunch of them. In this case, it's baggage info. So what does this do? This is the point. These are the arms and legs that I talked about. And this is how you can integrate this into your current system. So we've got the tool name is baggage info. And in here, we have a server URL. I'll show you where the information gets sent in just a second. And then we have a JSON string here. And basically, we have, this is called ID. And a description, this is also, once again, a mini prompt telling the AI, please, from the conversation, extract the user's unique baggage ID. Once it's extracted that, it sends this information to, in our case, make.com, into this URL. This one right here is the same one as we had up here. And now, as you can see, these are the arms and legs, which integrate with, in this case, Google Sheets, but you can swap this out to your software. And first of all, what happens is, in this case, what would happen is it would go here, and it goes into, I'll just reload this 1 second. There we go. We have these filters. So this filter is the tool name needs to be baggage info, which is, the name is baggage info. And then it goes down here. And then in the Google Sheets, it searches for the baggage ID, which got sent across, which once again, then it sends over all these bits of information extracted from the Google Sheets, so it can now answer with real live data. Once it's answered that, either the user says, "Oh, okay, cool, it's still unloading from the plane, I'll wait," or if it's lost, for example, you can lead them up here saying, "Let's create a ticket." Then once again, it asks for some information about the ticket, about the bag, if you want to add any details. And as you saw in the example, the tomato relish story actually happened. And I was on hold for probably 20 minutes before I got to speak with a very unhelpful young man who ended up doing nothing. And the bag of tomato relish is still lost somewhere in the world. So basically this is the same thing, right? We have a tool over here, ticket, it leads to the same URL, but it extracts a few different parameters. So for example, the description with a bit more information, the baggage ID, and it sends that across to here, right, to the ticket. And then we have a little AI module which writes a message and sends that in, for example, an email, or we can plug that into your system. And this is great because it saves you so much time, right? You don't need to take those phone calls just to file them into the same system. It can take care of all of it for you, which is great. And the same thing, I won't go through all of these. We've got down here, we've got the shuttle service. Instead of a human just having to look, do we have a shuttle available? Let me just, type in the details and order a shuttle. An AI can do this for you. It sends over the information, it pops it in the shuttle, whatever shuttle system you use, it pops the request in there. This can of course be a lot more complex. Maybe you need to check back and forth. Maybe you need to compare prices. You can scale this up as complex as you like. And that's the good thing, right? I always tell my clients, it's not really a question of can we build it? It's a question of should we build it? And I think that question, more and more gets answered throughout this video. And then, of course, the last flow that we have in here is security questions. I didn't showcase that yet because I didn't want the demo to get too long, but it's the same thing, right? You ask the caller, what's the security concern? You can even have a step in here where the AI evaluates how urgent is this? Is this someone just messing around because they're paranoid? Or is this someone who actually saw someone, checking their watch and then looking over to their bag the whole time? If you wanted to, right? Or you can just send the raw details in an email once again, or you can even get the AI to send, I've actually got a cool video where an AI makes another AI, which then calls a person. So theoretically, we could even get this AI to directly call security personnel if this is an extremely urgent request. Or we can just have the AI forward the call to a human, right? There's even this call transfer node here where you can specify to which number it should forward the call to. So there's all sorts of options. As you can see, there's basically no limits. And hopefully you got some insights into how we can use these tools to build something that actually functions, sounds real, and can be a real live use case to save airports a ton of time and also help the customers out when 200 customers call the same agent because their flight has been delayed. All right, so I hope you got some value from this video. As you can see, I've put a ton of effort into this tutorial and just showcasing what is possible with AI. So if you're a business owner, maybe you're even someone who works at an airport and think this would be beneficial, then just use the first link down below to book a free AI consultation call. We can talk about exactly how we can use something like this in your business, and I'd love to hear from you and see how we can help you guys out. I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you in the next one.